Thanks for staying with us. We still have our guest, Mr. Jide Kolade Otitoju. Yes, Nima.
So, another interesting state for me was Kogi. And I'll just start quick. No, Kogi is so Gami State. Yes, quickly from Senator Dino Melaye's polling unit. He won his polling unit. Only for facts to come out later that he himself did not vote. He alleged that it was scientifically rigged. He does not trust the system. What are the implications of a candidate not taking part in elections?
His own election.
The law says you must be involved in every phase of the election to be properly elected. He did not vote. That means he was not involved in every phase of the election. You have to vote and be voted for. It's there.
That's still subject to interpretation. No? Somebody can say, I campaigned. Must I vote?
You must vote for yourself.
You must vote and be voted for. If we had time, I will show you that portion. Yes.
Okay.
You know, it's there. It even came up during Faleke versus Abelo.
Okay, sir.
It's the law.
So, I think about 3 elections ago, anybody that watches your view then will know that I always carry political matter on my head. I had to switch from
like Oshuka.
I just loved the intrigues of politics.
The way Bonner Boy said.
But I've now moved to loving money. However, it's impacting our business. It's impacting life. And because of my love for politics, I see that the intrigues would never favor the people. At every point in time, the political machinery would work to favor the politicians. And their work is to ensure people remain impoverished so that it's easy to buy votes, it's easy to convince them to come back again. Is it possible for the people to rally and for us to have a definite change in the political... It's not even about APC or PDP, like a definite change. Can the people rally against this current political system? Is there any hope, maybe in the next 4 years or 8 years? How do you forecast that?
That's a really tough question. I badly want to see a Nigeria where the voter is the king. Where we can chase away bad leaders with our votes. Where the fidelity of our elections is guaranteed. Where you can be sure that the election will proceed without vote rigging and other malpractices. But it's extremely difficult here. There are some things that politicians do that even INEC right now cannot do anything about. Politicians, when they see that the opponent is strong in an area, they send talks to go and disrupt voting there. Yes. And what the INEC regulations say is that where voting is characterized by violence, they will cancel the elections there. That way you have rewarded the aggressor without knowing. You've rewarded the aggressor. Look at the presidential election. In some parts of the north, serious fighting took place in some polling centers. I know that a lot of those fights were deliberate, meant to weaken the capacity of some parties to win. You know, so it's not rigging in the way that we are familiar with, but it's still rigging. Because rigging gives you an unfair advantage. By ensuring that votes do not count where a politician is strong, you've rigged him out. That's the way I see it. We've got to be able to find a balance. Ensure that, look, the aggressor does not get rewarded for his actions. Secondly, if we have a succession of good elections, and this will happen if we continually reform the electoral process. If we have a succession of good elections, those elections would inevitably breed good leaders. Because people now know that you cannot rig the election. I keep telling people, India is currently rewards most populated country. They've overtaken China.
China.
India is the world's biggest democracy. They do both electronic and manual voting. It's, for most countries of the world, it's difficult to wholly do, if not impossible, to wholly do electronic voting. Paper trail still has to come in at some point. Apart from countries like maybe Estonia, very small countries, those are countries that they could say, oh, we are technologically strong enough to do 100% electronic voting. And even at that, for the purpose of record keeping, they still must keep that paper trail. So India combines electronic with manual voting, but you won't be able to rig an election as big as it is.
Wow.
Do you know how many Nigerians you can take out of India in terms of the landmass?
Yes.
You know? Do you know how many?
They got something right.
Yes, they found a way to make sure that you cannot rig the process. Who the people want will still become the winner of the election. And if you don't work for the people, they will kick you out. In fact, for little things, when Sonia Gandhi led the Congress party to victory some years back, what did she campaign on? The wife of Rajiv Gandhi. She campaigned on the fact that India has experienced economic prosperity, but nobody is taking care of people in the slums. That was her mantra. That was what she campaigned on. Come and see voting. People were shocked. The whole world was shocked that a very successful prime minister, Vajpayee,
Be taken out.
who was credited with turning India into a big IT power, was swept out of office.
Wow.
Dozens of MPs lost their seats because she campaigned, she focused on the poorest of the poor and told them, look, you've been left behind in the prosperity of India. And that message resonated. And they couldn't use incumbency, they chased them away. So we should get to that point.
Yes, how do we get to that point where the message that the people who are coming to contest, their message resonates? Because what I see is, they may know that this person would likely do the work, but because the person is not dropping rice or dropping gari or dropping anything, they will not vote for you. We are more into this stomach infrastructure. How do we get to that point where even the poor will refuse to collect anything because they want to vote the person they believe can do the work? It's all one.
Oh, it is. The people are battling to survive. Just check your phone and see the number of people asking you for favor every given day.
Yes.
It wasn't like that before. Today, when your phone rings, you are scared to even pick it, especially if it's a non-familiar number.
Yes.
Because it could be one favor that you are not even in position to offer that they're asking for. So people who are battling existential problems, people who are struggling to survive, who do not know where their next meal will come from. It is easy for the political class to weaponize poverty.
Yes.
They will take the money.
Okay, let me pause you for a second. I have a call. Oloyede Komifako, thanks for calling. Oh, I'm sorry I lost that call. The reason, I'll come to you, Nima. The reason why I wanted to come back to the issue of conscience is because this word conscience, when you say vote your conscience, you're thinking, who are we talking to exactly? Because when I traveled to Maiduguri some months back, and I saw a huge crowd of people there, and I was looking at them, I'm thinking, the mind of this person, I want to compare it to the person I see in Lagos, for example, maybe the working class. And they are two different human beings.
Yes.
This one is on social media, talking, speaking her views, their thoughts. This one is like listening to what our leader has said, and we're going. And I could see that, I could see their mindset. They are two different human beings. And I'm thinking to myself, when I say vote your conscience, who am I talking to exactly? Whose conscience? Like, how do we, can we really trust the Nigerian conscience?
That's the question.
Can I even trust this conscience? Because we're all saying, let them vote there. Because which conscience? Is it the man that is hungry, that is starving, that wants to eat whatever you give to him?
The conscience itself is influenced by all kinds of variables.
Exactly.
Ethnicity,
Religion.
you know, money. These are key factors that shape electoral behavior in our country. You see some of those clerics. That's why politicians take those clerics seriously. If the clerics turn against you, people have seen these clerics as assistants to God. Whatever they say, they take it. When clerics were preaching against COVID, many people in the north believed that COVID did not exist, that
Yes.
it existed in the imagination of some people.
Yes.
When some clerics were preaching against vaccination against polio,
Polio.
many people felt, look, I should not get vaccinated though. Even this vaccine that they brought the other day for young, yes, some clerics were preaching against it. So they influence our people a lot. So at the end of the day, a man decides who to vote for, not having been led by his inner mind or by his so-called conscience, but by what somebody else told him. Somebody that he has come to see as his God on earth. What he told him to do is what he goes ahead to do. And that's why they have such cult following that before an election, you must patronize them. Otherwise, they work against you. And when they work against you, the impact could be fatal for you. So, as you said, voter behavior in Lagos will never be the same as in the north. In the north, people are a lot easier to mobilize. Here, they register, perhaps they need the PVC for something else. They hardly come out to vote. On election day, you see people playing football in the neighborhood. But over there, they are easier to mobilize.
Let me pause you for a second. I have a call and come to Nima. Izuma has been holding. Good morning, Izuma.
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Mr. Jide, good morning.
Good morning, Izuna.
Yeah, sorry. I'm calling this program just to inform you just. I just came back from my place, from Imo State. We didn't do election. There's no election. It's on the 11th of Saturday. But to my greatest surprise, we saw results. I used to follow you as a journalist hangar. You don't know me. I trade in the trade fair. You know, that is where I do my work. But we used to listen to you every day by day. What is happening in this country? Very, very unfortunate. I just came back yesterday and I traveled home just to pick the leader of my choice. But then people.
I didn't hear him. Did you hear him?
He said there was no voting in his local government, I mean in his community, but that they saw results. And he was saying that they used to listen to me. Apparently he was going to say, but these days you don't speak the truth anymore. I'm used to
So
it.
that local government now, well, hopefully if we check IREV to see if indeed voting took place. Because sometimes when I say on the phone that, oh, voting did not take place in my local government, and I know somebody who was talking about it, oh, they did not vote. When IREV now came out, I said, Uncle, what's your polling unit? These are the numbers from your polling unit. Why so people come up with all these things, but we never know. But let me come to Nima.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about, popularizing the people, why this corruption and vote buying is popular. Most times when we see that on Saturday evening, we're discussing election and prices of food, and somebody say, Ashiwaju is not paying us, it's your family, the things are hard and everything is hard. And I was like, each state and each state governors are the direct closest governors
To the people.
machinery that you have to the people. And these governors enjoy office without necessarily accounting or showing any work they do. For instance, they are the ones who will now come and buy votes. The federalists all the way there in Abuja. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about, the performances of some of these governors and why it counted or did not count in their favor.
These days, a governor may not work and still get re-elected. Some of the governors that left office in May, I know some really poor ones that didn't work for the people, but some of them still found their way into the Senate. So that means our people have rewarded inefficiency, incompetence, and all that. Some people, some governors are not good enough to head their community associations, but they still win elections. And that's why I keep saying that, look, we've got to do something about our leadership recruitment module, because it's not delivering the right leaders for us. leaders who have conscience, leaders who put the people first. There are not many in our country. We have a lot of leaders who put their families first, who put their friends first. You people find their ways into government. They have opportunities to pick people who will man agencies of government, who will man ministries, man boards. It is their friends that they first think about, or their family members. Some we will think about their wives first. They do not care about headhunting the right people, people with competence, people who have conscience, people who truly fear God. Because the Nigerian politician will keep talking about God, 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 God all the time, but they don't have fear of God. It's all impotent religiosity.
Oh.
They don't fear God. When you fear God, you know that God has entrusted people in your care, and you must do your best to take good care of them. But if you come up with policies that make the people poorer, that leads to deaths of people, how can you then say you have conscience or that you fear God? It's really perplexing.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue and wrap up with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.